Dear community, I hope this message finds you well. I am doing well and staying blessed. In light of my recent departure from the Brave Green Wave Trybe, I wanted to take some time to acknowledge my accomplishments and areas where there was room to grow. I have accepted multiple leadership roles in Milwaukee, each with the purpose of creating change in our marginalized communities. It's been a wild journey of community organizing, community care, and self-care. While holding various organizing positions within the community, I can recall when I have been at my lowest, isolated and alone, and when I have been in vibrant energy. I started my formal organizing journey with U Black, alongside with my mom. With the support of my nonprofit connections and a grassroots foundation, I learned how to build intentional community and create events that brought folks together. In this space, I felt the most successful. My U Black family is still a gem that I cherish. The Black Women's Empowerment Marches of 2017 and 2018, along with many of our U Black potlucks, were highlights of my community work. I remember the radiant energy of the Black Women's Empowerment March of 2018 like it was yesterday, dancing in the street with African drummer Fuji and Congresswoman Gwen Moore. I have been blessed with many amazing experiences, and I have been in good company throughout my leadership journey. In 2018, I moved into organizing with Project Infinity and the Rainbow Warriors. I was able to work with folks in radical spaces doing radical things, but the fire burned quickly. My intention with PI and RW was to create an anti-capitalist space for my peers and relatives to shed these heavy mindsets of value tied to productivity and overworking. I gained and lost a lot of connections during this time. I worked a lot of mediocre jobs to fund our work, and I lost my home, my stability in the process. This was a start of my housing insecurity journey. I went from helping folks who were evicted and housing insecure to being housing insecure myself, making late payments and hustling in survival mode. I remember being evicted like it happened last night, waking up to have birthday breakfast with my mom, and then running home to pack what I could. Those memories forever haunt me. Trust me, it's a long journey of unlearning the mindset I gained during this time. I stayed with people I called friends. I stayed with sides of my problematic family. I reconnected with my dad and family in Minnesota. I learned what it meant to be community oriented with folks who always made sure they uprooted the community for themselves. Then George Floyd and Breonna Taylor were murdered. I spent the summer mobilizing for housing stability and economic wealth for Black queer folks in Milwaukee. Through my research into housing displacement and intergenerational trauma, I learned that freedom was connected to the wealth which affects housing stability. In the summer of 2020, I saw the system do what it does best: divide folks to conquer our fighter energy and make us fight over funding through publicity. I have survived a lot, and I am proud of myself. Brave Green Wave Trybe began in 2019, and it survived the pandemic great and then some. I am so proud of my work at BGWT. I've spent the past year and a half building community, housing stability, and mapping out what intentional care looks like for queer and Black folks in Milwaukee. My time, money, and energy finally paid off when we created the 21st Street Cooperative and purchased the first home for BGWT members. With a determination and a willingness to be fair and just, I became the first unofficial president of 21st Street Co-op. Since buying that house in August of 2021, I helped fundraise thousands of dollars and house 3 people that were facing housing insecurity. Like me, 2 years ago. They were on the verge of eviction, and with my support, they are now house owners. Unfortunately, my efforts to secure housing and building community, it resulted in me being removed from the space I worked so hard to create. My character and integrity have been called into question on more than one occasion, and has left me feeling isolated and at times defeated. I have learned that trauma runs deep. We each do our best. We each do the best we can until we learn to do better. The BGWT formed as a group of people doing the best they could. Histories of trauma robbed us of the opportunity to do better and to grow through our misunderstandings as a collective. I've continuously grown from my experiences organizing in the Milwaukee community. I've gained more awareness about who I am and how my personal history of trauma has shown itself over the course of my organizing work. I have been able to integrate lessons learned over the past few years, and I have felt even more spiritually connected to my purpose. This year, I started my own business. I've modeled in fashion shows and met dope people. I gained more familiarity with my talents as a tarot reader and priestess, period. I have been featured in magazines, signed to a modeling agency, and started to get more creative clients to design upcycled clothes for. I moved from a van to a studio apartment to a one bedroom. I began therapy and discovered the parts of me that needed to heal before I created healing spaces in the community. It's only up from here for me. Despite these trials and tribulations, I have prevailed. And for those who experience similar situations, keep your head up. These moments are temporary, but they will propel us towards our goal of happiness and success faster than any other path would. It's always my quiet supporters that are my true community. I want to sincerely thank you for this financial support, the wisdom, the tutoring, the mentoring, the frantic late night calls, community dates, and so much more. With patience and love, Annia.